Hey friends, Ms. Ramprecht here. We're going to be doing a second experiment about capacity. So first, let's walk through the materials you need to do this at home. You first need access to water. So I've used this bowl so I don't have to run the sink. It just makes it easier and I'm wasting less. I've used some food coloring to color the water so you can simply see it as we fill the containers. This is not mandatory, but if you're wondering, that's why my water is purple. Then you need to pick 3 different size containers. So I have 1, 2, and 3. Again, I use glass containers so that you can see where the water is filling each time I pour scoopfuls in, but you do not need to use clear containers. You can use any containers, bowls, cups, anything that you're allowed to use. You also need something to record with, so I've pre-written out my little recording sheets for each container so that I'm ready to fill in my results. Then you need 2 scoops. So I've picked a big scoop and a small scoop. It's important that they're different sizes. If you don't have scoops like that, you can use spoonfuls, you can use a big ladle, those would be 2 different sizes, or you can even use like a small glass, your parents might have one, or even you could use something like a yogurt container or something from your recycling to fill your containers with. So today we're going to compare what happens when we fill our containers with a big scoop versus a little scoop. So I'm going to start with my big scoop. It's really important that when you're filling up your scoop, you're filling it right to the top. We don't want to fill it only partially because then each time I pour my scoop into my container, it's going to be a different amount of water. So check with your parent, make sure that it's filled right to the top. Now, Mr. Ramprecht should have practiced this a little bit because I'm worried we're gonna make a bit of a mess. I'm gonna try my best to get most of the water into my first container. So there's 1 big scoop. Again, filling to the top, pouring it in my container. There's 2 big scoops. Okay, awesome. So you can see my cup is almost full. So I know I don't have room for another big scoop. So on my recording sheet, I'm going to put for big scoops for container 1, it was 2 and a little bit, because there is a little bit of room left. Okay, now I'm going to move on to container 2 with my big scoop. So I'm going to, again, dunk in my water, making sure I'm filling all the way up to the top and filling my container. So there's 1 scoop. Again, filling all the way to the top and pouring it in my container. Well, look at that. It fits 2 scoops perfectly, 2 big scoops. So on my paper, my recording sheet, for container 2 big scoops, I'm going to put 2 because it took exactly 2. Okay, moving on to container 3. Just so that I have an easier time filling, I'm going to pour my water back in. We're using the same water so that we're not being wasteful. Okay, so now I'm ready to have more water to work with. So again, fill your big scoop all the way to the top in a container 3. So let's count. That's 1, filling it to the top, 2, filling it to the top, 3, ooh, let's see, I think we might be able to do another one. Filling it to the top, 4, and there's a little bit more room in there, so I'm gonna fill up another big scoopful. So we said 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And, ooh, 5. Wow, look at that. Okay, so container 3 took 5 big scoops. So I'm going to record that here. Okay, now I'm just going to carefully pour this water back into my big bowl. So again, we can use it again. Okay, now we're moving on from our big scoops to using our little scoop. So same procedure, just with my little scoop this time, I'm making sure I fill it right to the top. Let's count how many scoopfuls it takes for container 1. 1, 2, right to the top, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we still have a bit of room. Let's try another one. 9, right to the top. Okay, so it took, container 1 took 9 little scoops. Okay, so now we'll move on to container 2. Just going to move my water so I'm not making such a mess. Okay, so it took 2 big scoops to fill, so now we're gonna try with our little scoops. I'm gonna fill it up. 1, 2, sorry about my dogs, guys. 3, 4, 5, 6, oh, still some more room. 7, and maybe, let's see if it can take 8. It might just be 7 and a little bit. You know what? It fit 8 perfectly. Okay, so it took 2 big scoops to fill container 2, but it took 8 little scoops. All right, and last but not least, moving on to container 3. Again, I'm just going to re-add some of the water I already used, so I have more to work with. Okay, so again with my little scoop, but container 3 this time. 1, 2, filling all the way to the top of my scoop. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, I have a little bit more room, 19, and maybe one more, 20, just fit. Wow, look at that. 20 little scoops. So now I'm done my actual experiment and I want to look at my results. So container 1 took 2 scoops and a little bit for the big scoop. Container 2 took less than that. It only took 2 big scoops. And container 3 took 5 big scoops. In your experiment video, I want you to explain to me why your containers took a different amount of big scoops of your water. And then I also want you to look at your little scoops. So container 1 took 9 little scoops, container 2 8, and container 3 20 little scoops. Then I want you to think about why it took more little scoops to fill your containers than big scoops. Unless you find something else, let me know. Okay, but I want you to think about kind of your results. So I'm excited to see your experiments. Make sure that you clean up and that you have a parent help you with this before you get involved with any containers and water. Have a great time.